everyone. It's again 5 o'clock. It's Share the Vibe. And today I'm so excited to have Harm joining us. Now, I'm not going to introduce you, Harm. I'm going to leave it to you. You're going to tell us all who you are and where you're from.
Hi, Lizette. Yeah, my name is Harm Schutte. I'm a qualified life coach.
Awesome.
I'm also a business coach.
Excellent.
And then I am firstly and foremostly a born-again Christian, which I feel is probably what determines the levels from which I operate and how I see myself and where I come from. I'm also the operational manager for a company that specializes in telecommunications. And I've had many businesses in my life. So I'm a jack of all trades and master of some.
Well, for those who don't know, myself and Harm used to work, and I met him years ago when we were working together. I think it was at Pan Solutions, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
That was many moons ago, I have to tell you guys. So, Harm, what are you currently doing during lockdown?
All right, we obviously, because I'm part of the telecommunication industry, we are part of essential services as well. And one of our biggest customers that we have is the Discrim Group, and we supply them with telephony. So obviously, because they need to be open, we need to be able to support them.
Yes.
So we've registered as an essential services business, and it just makes it easier for me during this coronavirus lockdown, because I do get out a bit, so it's not this claustrophobic thing that everybody else is battling with. Yeah.
So is it like business as usual, or can you see if there's a difference? How is it working?
No, it's definitely not business as usual. We like I said, we're on call-out basis. So if we need to go collect stock and deliver to a premises, we organize that. If services needs to be done, we send out the technicians to go and do that. I'm also in charge of managing the stock situation and stock levels. So stock gets delivered to our offices. I need to be there to go and actually just get it and make sure things happen. Yes, correct. So, but other than that, during lockdown, we operate from home. We're not allowed to obviously operate from the business premises, so we operate from home. And we've set up facilities in order for us to help ourselves and our customers to do that. So we have all these fantastic toys that we can help ourselves with and help others with. So it just makes our life a lot easier. And we can basically carry on working like we would sit in our office.
And all your employees, they are motivated and going strong.
Yes, correct. We constantly do meetings, video conferencing meetings, telephony meetings, those types of things, at least once every 2 to 3 days between management and then some staff departments. The salespeople are constantly in training sessions. We ourselves are constantly in training sessions, being set up either on Zoom or any other platform.
Which is great, because it's such a great opportunity now to actually use the opportunity to actually start training people and, expanding your own development.
Correct. You know what, if you can look at this in two ways. You can look at this as an opportunity or as a hampering tool. So I think it's all about the attitude that you go into this with. So if your attitude is, listen, I need this to better myself, you've got a very good platform to do that with. If you see this as I'm being punished because of everybody else's wrongs or because of a virus, then you're going to stagnate. So it's all up to you, I think.
It's so true. I always say, so from which angle we are looking at, and from whose point of view are we looking at? And, I just recall my kids were in the high school, and their headmaster would always say, just look at from a different point of view. And the kids would get very angry because obviously teenagers, they want to have their point of view to be seen. And it's so true, especially now with the COVID-19, we have to look at from a different point of view. You cannot go down the depression rabbit hole.
I agree. And I don't think it's only COVID-19. I think it's life in itself. I've got a philosophy that I live by, and you know me, like we said, we've known each other for a while now. You asked a question one day, or you answered a question that somebody asked you when I joined the company that we worked for, and you said, I am too professional. And, I ascribe that not as being professional. It's just the way I see things, the way I see life.
Yes.
I've got a philosophy that states you can decide, and that's come from the Bible. The Bible says, happy is the man that actually recognizes how important God is in his life. He's like a tree planted at water streams, and he will flourish and bear his fruit and all those types of things. And I always tell people, if they ask me, they say, okay, how are these things affecting you? I said, well, you can decide. Are you a tree or are you a bonsai?
Yep.
Because a bonsai looks like a tree, but it's manipulated by everybody around it and everything around it to look like a tree, but it hasn't come to its full potential.
Oh, wow. What an analogy. Fabulous.
And so that's what I believe. I believe we need to be able to be in charge of, firstly, our thoughts.
Yeah.
Secondly, our attitude.
Yeah.
And thirdly, do that all in line with God's will. And once you do that, obviously things are going to fall in place.
Yes, definitely. You know, I also have a saying, when people go all doomy gloomy, and I said, don't forget who your God is.
Correct.
You know, no matter what happens with us around. So, Harm, tell me what's happening with family and kids. How are they coping, and how are you coping with them?
Well, we're lucky. Anne-Marie and I obviously don't have kids in the house anymore.
Yes.
Just 2 doggies and a bird. They drive us insane.
Yeah.
Because they can't go for the walks and these
True.
types of things. So, but Anne-Marie and I are in a good place. You know, we try and stick to our normal routines. You know, get up in the morning, finish, get dressed, act like, you know, we're physically going out to work. We try and stick to the way we would do things if we were at work.
Yeah.
We also try and steer away from getting into situations where things around us dictate, you know, steering away from watching too much news.
Yes.
I've got to be honest, I do not watch the news. I do not read newspapers because I believe you become what you're getting programmed with. So I'm not a negative person, so I would not be programmed by that. So yeah, but other than that, we've had a bit of an issue with Anne-Marie's mum. She's got dementia and things aren't going well. So we had to get a rush permit for Anne-Marie to quickly go through and go and see her mom.
Okay.
Yeah, and things aren't looking too good there. But again, you know, it's a question of looking at things. Are we going to allow that situation to manipulate us? And the answer is no. You know, it happens. We have to live with it. We pray for her. We do what we need to do. But
and the good news
at the end of the day,
being in a situation which we are, there is always a solution to overcome any challenge.
Correct.
Which is great.
And I think if it wasn't for challenges, we wouldn't have grown.
Yes.
Because we would have stagnated. We wouldn't have been able to think on our feet to get to a situation where we start to think about things differently. If there's no challenge, why would you want to change the way you think about things?
And that's exactly what it is. You know, I spoke to someone else, and they said, you know, we are quite behind, or most of our fellow South Africans are so behind with technology, i.e. the Zooms, the WhatsApp video calls, etc. And this pandemic literally forced us to accelerate and get with the program, if I can call it that. So it's crazy. Yeah. What motivates you right now? Because obviously it's a negative environment. We all feel a bit doom and gloomy. What will you say to the people who are listening right now? What makes you motivated?
Lizette, if I can give the people one message, it's keep your eyes focused on God. There's nothing else in life that's important. At the end of the day, if you use the analogy, you come into life naked, you leave life naked. You don't take anything with you. You couldn't bring anything from anywhere else when you came into life. So just make sure that every single day you live like it's your last day, and make sure that every single day you're 1% better than what you were yesterday.
True.
And better in everything, better in your marriage, better in being a father, better in being an employee, better in being a life coach. All these types of things. Just make sure you're 1% better than yesterday.
Very much so. And tell me, what do you miss the most right now?
I miss people. I'm a people person, and even though we kind of interact with people, that close relationships aren't there. You know, the relationships you forged with customers, you forged with your fellow employees, all these types of things. That's not there. So that's what I miss the most. Yeah, correct. I miss the vibe.
Yes. So what is the one thing that keeps you sane above all right now?
I think it's the fact that I'm level-headed, one.
Okay.
And if I say level-headed, it might sound arrogant, but it's not. It's understanding who I am in God. It's understanding what He's called me for. It's understanding people around me. It's just deciding to take emotion out of a decision and making a decision based on fact. All these types of things. My wife has surprised me when she went for an interview. They asked her, if there's one person you can be besides yourself, a role model, and I know my wife, so I kind of expected she would go for one of these Hollywood movies. And she said to the people she wants to be like me.
Oh, wow.
I said, why? So she said to them, because my husband is so level-headed. He takes the emotion out of everything and makes the right decision. So, which is a plus, but at the end of the day, you asked me what keeps me sane, and that's what keeps me sane. I can take the emotion out of things.
I've actually done a video on my YouTube channel, which I've actually put down as parking your emotions. And it's very similar to what you are saying. If we don't park our emotions and see the things for what it is, without exaggerating it, we can handle it.
Yeah, correct. You see that there are so many viewpoints on a specific one thing, and the example I always use is, I go to work this morning, a taxi cuts me off. I've got a choice. How can I react? One, two. I must understand that that's not reality. That's my perception on reality.
Correct.
But look at the taxi driver. He needs to get from point A to point B as fast as possible to make more money, those types of things. And imagine the poor person sitting inside the taxi.
Exactly.
Saying, oh my word, today I'm going to die.
Exactly.
Okay. So there are three ways of looking at the same fact. Okay. And that's why if you take emotion out of it, you look at the fact purely. Then
your perception change. Lastly, Harm, and I really appreciate your time. Tell me, what's one message for all the listeners right now? What would you be giving them? If there's one message they can actually take today and say, I can do this.
All right. First of all, remain yourself. Don't let situations dictate who you are. Understand where your grounding is. Keep your feet on the ground and reach for the stars.
Absolutely. It's awesome. Thank you very, very much for your time. Guys, we thank Harm for his time. Have an awesome afternoon. I really appreciate you logging in and watching these video clips with us. All of us can conquer the COVID and this lockdown period. Go dig deep and be yourself.